right, we're here down here in North Carolina. Did I do that right?
Yeah, a little better.
North Carolina. Anyhow, we're down here in Cary, or up here. Actually, it's up here because we started in Florida, the Sunshine State, coming back from the meets, and we stopped to see my good friend Dan Willey. Never been here before, but always wanted to come, so I said, hey, we're coming up this way, let's just come up here and say hello, and we're going to do a 3-day thing here. We're going to go to Apex Track, which is over Tony Sears' place.
That's right.
And we're going to go see my other good friend, Lee Substelny. He's going to make us, he's Polish, Lee is, and he's going to make us a nice Polish dinner tomorrow night, so that ought to be pretty cool. And Dan's been working on a Mercer K4s, not a Dave Moore K4, completely different engine. This is an exact copy of the 1361, and he used all my parts and my drawings, and he's doing a fabulous job on it. I love the color of it. That's what kind of material is that?
That's a Rust-Oleum satin black.
Right, and you just spray it and whatever.
You spray it, yeah, the sandblast or B-blast.
Oh, you do?
B-blast at first, get a little grip, and then.
Oh yeah, even the drivers and everything.
Not the drivers.
Mm-hmm.
I think just the running gears.
Okay, and running gears on my castings, I guess, and you machine them.
That's right.
I use a bronze casting for my side rods, and then I machine them, and then of course they're plated.
That's right.
And Dan has the boiler on the floor here, built by a friend of ours, Mike McCotter, did a beautiful job on this boiler. It's a true bell pair. You got a combustion chamber in this?
It does.
Okay, and you know, I mean, it's like the full bell pair. Well, mine isn't that way, but Dan wanted it that way. So now he's working on the jacketing. He's doing the jacketing, and that's like a whole nightmare in itself. If you don't think so, try it. The machine work is one thing, but doing the sheet metal and all the little gingerbread is another whole concept.
Right.
And what have you been doing? Like, what are you making? What are you doing?
So on the boiler here, I'm working on the templates for the jacketing. The problem with this boiler is it's got a conical shape in the front. It's got a square section.
Right.
Then the bell pairs at an angle. All these
A lot
angles.
of shapes.
A lot of shapes. So, and what I've been doing is watching on Chasky, watching you and Jack Bodeman on with your copper bashing. So I'm gonna make the rear sheet
Right.
and the thread sheet.
I wasn't making
copper.
videos at that time, but if I did, I would show how I learned it from Jack. Actually, it's how I met Jack. I looked up, I thought of it, I come to my idea, I said, well, heck, if they make these formed shapes for copper boilers, why couldn't I make a formed shape from copper around the engine? And I kind of got the idea, and I Googled copper forming, and his site came up, and that's how I met Jack, not through the Chasky. And then I noticed later on that he was on there. But you make up an MDF
Make
shape.
an MDF form, yeah.
Yep.
And all my templates over here,
and
cardboard templates.
You know that has to be minus the thickness of whatever metal you use.
That's right.
Because it's going around it. And then you anneal the stuff. And Jack used, I don't know, I tried that. It didn't seem to make a difference. He used ice water.
I mean, it'll speed up the
Yeah,
cooling process.
yeah,
as well.
I guess.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you got the nails. And then you start beating it, but you just can't keep beating it. You got to keep annealing it as you beat it a little bit, anneal it, beat it a little bit, anneal it, and it'll form around there. And it really makes a big difference on how that finished boiler looks.
Yeah. The copper work hard, as it gets hard, it'll
Yeah,
crack, so
yeah,
you got to
yeah,
anneal it
yeah,
back, and
yeah.
you cycle.
Right,
Just
and you
don't
keep
have
doing that, right. And then the same thing when you spin. You got to do it the same way.
spinning on,
Yeah,
lathe spinning, yeah. Yeah, so I started this, as you know, about 20 years ago, and what I tell my friends that aren't in the hobby, you know, what you do about a locomotive. A locomotive is really a set of different models that bolt together to create a locomotive. So, for example, as you know, the Lee truck is a project. The trailing truck's a project. The drive wheels, the running gear, the cylinders. They're all projects that are lengthy at time, and then they just happen to bolt together, I guess by design, that they create a locomotive. The frames were done by Bob Holder of Rogers Cook Locomotive. He's no longer with us, but he did a wonderful job. They were done probably 15 years ago. It's one of the first things I did. But anyway, as you can see, the locomotive's is pretty much complete as far as the chassis. It's running on air. A couple of years ago, it runs pretty well. And as Dave said, I'm on working on the jacketing, and it's definitely a learning experience. When I started this 20 years ago, I didn't have a shop, so I learned how to do machining through listening and watching.
Well, it's a lot of processes you have to know.
Right.
I mean, if you want to build a locomotive like I do from design up, you got to be a designer. You got to be a pattern maker. If you want to get really into it, you got to be a foundryman. You know,
Right, it's a lot of
that's a
like-
little bit more than I want to do.
Yeah, right,
I do some foundry work, but I wouldn't want to make castings.
right.
I might. The casting prices are going through the roof right now. I might decide to make my own castings. I don't know.
So now, everything's been a learning process, and now I'm stuck on these jackets here, this jacketing, and I've not done the sheet metal work before, and it's kind of got me in a bind here. I'm a little slow at it. I haven't been doing much work on it.
I think
but-
it's been holding you up, right?
Yeah. It's
'Cause
kind
you're a
of a
little
mental
bit-
thing. I've got to get into it.
You're a little bit
Well,
afraid of, like, well, you're taking light steps to get
that's
there.
right. That's right. But all the templates, you can see them over there in a pile. I have over in the woodworking shop. I've got the basis for the form, so I just need to get with it. Maybe,
Yeah.
you know.
Speaking of the shop, I wanted to mention that I've seen plenty of pictures of Dan's shop. Most of the time I see the pictures right in this area because he's showing the locomotive. But I didn't realize he has a whole section over here. It's probably, 10 by 15 anyway, that he uses for the wood. He's got an additional section back there with his computer. And then he has a man cave over there to watch all the videos. And this is a really nice home shop. This is what the home shop guy should have to make up all the, that's how a lot of those guys make those little engines like a Cabin Fever and all. They have shops similar to this. And, the Mercer shop's completely different. That's a working, everyday working shop, so it's a little bit different. But
Yeah, when I built this house years ago, this was an unfinished basement, so I did all this finishing myself. And I've talked to a lot of people with shops, and one thing they said to do is put plenty of lighting in. So as you maybe see in a shot here, I've got fluorescence all around that lights up pretty well.
right, I like a welded shop.
Yeah.
I've been in some shops where the guy just has a bulb over top of the machine, and
strange
it's
sound.
really hard to see. And
Yeah.
as you get older, man, I need more light. I need lots of light. I can't see without the light.
And what I did, these are all fluorescents. They came with magnetic ballasts and they buzz, so it bothered me. So I put electronic ballast in about 3 or 4 years ago. So really
Right.
quiet, more efficient. And the other thing is, I always wanted, HVAC, so I can work in the winter. So
Yeah.
it's part of the house, and it's really worked out really nice.
You have a walkout basement,
Walkout basement on the patio,
so you pull I guess when you load it, you go right out
right
that
to the
way.
threshold there. Yeah, but it serves me well.
Yep. And I was glad to come down here, and we got a lot of things to do today. This afternoon, like I said, we're going over to the track, and we're going to have a nice dinner tonight, and maybe we'll watch some man cave videos. And then tomorrow, where are we going tomorrow?
Tomorrow you're going over to see the plasma cutter, I think.
Oh yeah, in the morning we're going to see a friend of William Sherman Corwin III. We're going to, that's his name, get off from me. I didn't
Sherman's
give
off
birth to
camera
him. Anyway, we're going to go over to see a friend of Sherman's tomorrow, Ronnie Cook, who has a plasma cutter. And then we're going to go see Lee Substelny
Tomorrow and see the
tomorrow afternoon.
18-cylinder.
He built an 18-cylinder radial from that guy, what's his name, Barrett or something?
Up in Cabin Fever. Yeah,
Right,
it's a lot
well,
of a Pratt.
the guy sells all the parts and everything in Cabin Fever.
No, there's one part.
One
There's
part.
one casting. Everything else,
one
Lee will
casting.
show you this. It's
One
all done
casting,
from
how
raw
about that?
casting. Yeah,
Anyhow,
there's a lot of work in it.
we're going to see that, and then
And Saturday we're going to try to go to the North Carolina State.
we're going over to
Yeah.
Spencer Shops, right?
Spencer Shops. Yeah.
That'd be cool. So I'm going to get some video on that.
So-
Well, anyhow, that's it from Dan Willey Shop, and we'll see you again on the next video. And thanks for watching.
Thanks for dropping by.